So tell us a bit about yourself and what you do.
Hi, good morning.
Mm,
My name is Opara Benita Maria Kilichi. I'm saying the full name because when you search me online, that's what will come out.
okay.
I would call myself an architect, a spoken word artist, and a public speaking coach slash public speaker. That's about myself. I'm a child of God. I love God so much. I love to read. I love to write. I love to speak to people and to also impact lives. That's basically about me. And I love making people smile. So, like you just did. All right.
At what moment did you realize that spoken word would be something that you'd want to pursue?
Hmm. So I'll tell you a backstory that led to that. At the age of 13, I was kidnapped and it really messed up my mental health. And writing was the only way that helped me to gather my thoughts together. I started writing poems, poetry, and everything, prose, stories, just to make sure that I'm in a safe space mentally. After writing, I'll read out my poems to people. They will not really understand it. Or whenever I give it to them to read, they will not understand it. So I decided to add my voice to it. So that's how it became spoken word poetry.
Wow,
Do you
that's
get it? So
that's
that's
very
it. And
nice.
then I found out that someone else, Ivy Quick, was already doing it on a global stage. I never thought it was something big. I just used to do it with my friends. And then I decided to just pursue it. And it's yielded. So, yeah.
Is there a personal piece of your spoken poetry that is very personal to
To
you?
me, hmm.
Like which one? I know you've said a lot, like you've written a lot, but like which one do you feel like is personal to you that exposes your vulnerability?
Exposes my vulnerability. That's a very good question. When you said personal, I had one already. Well, now you're saying expresses my vulnerability. Hmm. I would say the piece that I wrote about first daughters, Adas. I was going through something, and my family is very wonderful. I just felt really, I felt in a dark place, right? And then I wrote about the stereotypical Ada, not exactly how my family treats me,
And
but what many first daughters always complain about that they've gone through, being always having to be the independent one and everything. So that's something that's personal to me because I'm also a first daughter. Something that's vulnerable, I believe it to be when I spoke on TEDx Lagos.
wow,
Yes,
that's amazing.
that would be when I spoke at TEDx Lagos. The poem I shared, I feel is very vulnerable to me, but I tried to speak about it in a third person. So you don't really realize that I was talking about myself. Do you get? So yeah.
That's very nice.
Thank
Congratulations,
you.
by the way.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Have you ever experienced writer's block before?
Hmm. That's a very interesting question. I believe every creative, writer, speaker, whoever has in one point or the other experienced block in general. For me, when I'm writing, sometimes I experience writer's block. When I'm speaking, I write a script, I'll still experience writer's block. Everything starts from your thoughts, your ideas written down. So I've experienced it a lot of times.
So how did you overcome it?
Hmm. There are different ways that I overcome writer's block. The first one I would like to do is if I'm writing and I feel that the ideas are not coming as they should, I'll pause, take a walk, sleep sometimes. People don't realize it, but sleep is really one of the best medicines. I'll sleep sometimes. I'll get my favorite snack and just take a walk. And I like to walk in places that have greenery, scenery, just so that I can experience nature, being one in tune with my creator who created us. Did you guys?
Okay.
So yeah, that's one thing that really helps me with writer's block. But if I don't have those at my disposal, then I just sleep and wake up. And I then ask God for help. I'm like, God, as I'm going to bed now, when I wake up, please, I want to have the answers to this thing. And most times I do have the answer. So
Okay, so we saw your video on YouTube for the TEDx
which
Lagos.
of the okay, TEDx
Yes.
speakers.
And while I was watching it, you didn't stutter. You weren't nervous. You just spoke in front of that big crowd. So I want to ask, how do you deal with your stage fright and nervousness?
Hmm. Let me tell you a secret. that I have learned over the years as a coach. I'm a public speaking coach.
All right.
And one thing I always tell my mentees, my students, is for you to not stutter, take pauses. No one is ever rushing you when you're speaking. Take your time. Make sure that you feel the room. So what I did when I got to that TEDx Lagos stage was, at first I was nervous because I hadn't spoken in front of that kind of audience. Do you get? And I took walks, brisk walks back and forth just to calm my nerves, because the one thing that makes us feel frightened or nervous is when we have so much dopamine, so much adrenaline in our body. So to let go of those hormones, you have to take brisk walks. That's something. Breathing exercises also help. So I did those things. I just used what I always teach my students. I did it and it helped. Then I had to remind myself that was I am the daughter of the king of the universe. So I have a seat in this place. I need to take up space. God sent me here for a reason, and everyone here needs to feel the aura from Him. Do you
Yeah.
understand? So I didn't rush. I took my time. I practiced my lines because I had a script, but that also helped me. So breathing exercises, taking brisk walks, and reminding yourself the reason why you are there. Why are you speaking? That's what really helps me. Yeah.
That's really good.
Thank you.
What do you hope people should take from your spoken word anytime you minister? What kind of message do you feel that people should take home whenever you have your spoken word ministration?
One thing I would always like people to take home from what I do, spoken word, either is a performance or administration in church, is I want you to see the possibility that you also can have. Spoken word poetry, like I told you, is something that emanated from poets wanting to have a voice added to their poetry. So whenever I am speaking to an audience, I want at least 5 people to be impacted. So if I'm speaking to you, telling you about my story, my life, I want you to take away something from there. So my focus is not on me, it's on the audience. Every single time I speak, what can the audience take away from this discussion? What can the audience take away from my speech? Is someone going to be reminded of their identity in Christ from what I'm saying? Is someone going to be reminded of what they carry on their inside, the possibilities that they have that they're not taking charge of? Is someone going to feel inspired from this? Is someone going to feel happy from this? Is someone going to be emotional from this? It does not matter the emotions. I would presume what I want my audience to feel, practice in that line, use my family members as the audience for that day. And if they feel what I want my audience to feel, then I've ticked a box right there. So yeah.
If you had the opportunity to, you know, say one of your spoken word poetry for the rest of your life, I know you have a lot, but
Okay.
if they told you that you're going to say one, like every administration, just one for the rest of your life, which one would it be?
I have so many in my bank of poems. I'm just thinking. Um, Firstly, the short film that I have on YouTube, which is 20 something. That's something that I wrote when I just turned 21.
Wow.
And it really speaks to me every single time I watch it. I'm just like, who's this girl that I'm watching? That's one. That's a performance. Then for administration, I believe I would always want to speak on I finally found love. And I was talking about how I finally found love in God, and how, aside the fact that my parents brought me up in the way of the church, I found God for myself. And He always just shows up in ways that I can't imagine. Let me tell you something. When I started 2025, I just wrote it in my vision board that I want to be a TEDx speaker. I didn't know how it was going to happen. Well, in August, I got reached out to by TEDx Festac Town. That was the first TEDx. Then in November, I mistakenly stumbled on the TEDx post.
Mistakenly.
I'm serious. Okay, it's not a mistake. I don't believe in coincidences. I feel like I was led to that. I had just created a new Instagram page. So I was tailoring my content, the people that I followed, to be speakers, public speakers, because I wanted that to be a public speaking page wholly. And that's how I stumbled on TEDx. Lagos. I pitched my idea to them, and across Africa, I was one of the 10 that were picked. And it's just at the end of 2025, I had to tell myself that this God really loves me. Like anyone that tells me that God doesn't exist, I don't know what to say to you because I have felt His love for myself, and so that's one thing I would like to minister every single time. Yeah.
So thank you so much for coming to the TG podcast, and once again, congratulations.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.